Hello there, outliers. Niiamah Sean here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. It is a wonderful day, and I'm so glad to have you join us on today's roundtable conversation, where we bring in exceptional people and leaders to see how they not only are creating more for their world in the past, but how they continue to grow and develop in not just their leadership, but in who they are as a leader. And I think it's incredible to be able to have this conversation with Aslak De Silva, who is an outlier in and of itself. Aslak, thank you so much for being in this space. It is really great to have you.
Hey, thanks, Niiamah, for inviting me here. I'm super happy to be here and talking
Yeah,
with you
same here,
today.
man. So, why don't we get started here by giving the outliers a chance to get to know you? Would you mind sharing more about you and the game you're currently playing?
Sure. So I have kind of two-sided life. So first, I started as a martial artist when I was 12. I was super into the full contact fighting. I got my black belt when I was 18 years old. I fought in about 100 full contact fights. I won a championship in Detroit, Michigan, year 2000. Then, as with many people, so I got some injuries, and when I was at the age of 27, so I had to stop fighting, and then I kind of stopped that career of my life and started off from entry level positions to work myself up. Now I've been leading companies for more than 10 years. I've been the CEO for two different multinational companies. The latest one was a self-restore, which grew into 25 countries in Europe. I do keynote speaking, executive coaching, and then I actually wrote a book, The Black Belt in Leadership, which is then about lessons learned from the martial arts for leaders. And I do a podcast now and executive coaching for business executives who want to learn to live and lead like a
Oh, I
martial
love this here.
artist.
Like, there's a lot of different things that you just said that really like piqued my interest as you were going in here. One of them was that what I get about you is that you get excellence and you get mastery, right? To go through to go in and achieve black belt by 18, continue to have all those fights, and then start over in something new. I really want to make sure that we're talking about it as we go on, because I know there's a lot of outliers here who get that journey, who've risen to one of the top spots in like in their industry or in their profession, and then it's time for something new, and they need to either reinvent or reapply. And what I get is that you decided to transform from there. So let's I want to come back and like ask this question here. So you have lessons from like you said, black belt leadership. What is the thing that you would say is like what are like one of the top three things that you take from your experience in getting your black belt to leadership right now?
Yeah. I think the first lesson that I've kind of picked up myself is that, okay, you need to be adaptable. So in a fight, there's always an opponent that you're fighting. So of course you can prepare yourself, you can be your best version, but it's always dependent on the opponent as well, which is then leadership and business in life as well. So even if you study everything you need to learn, so you need to adapt to the people you're leading or to the people you want to do the business with. So that is one. The second is of course the preparation part. So every day in martial arts, you talk about do, the kind of way of life. So you basically know what's right and wrong, and you just try to live your life with the right things. We are none of us are perfect. So we do make mistakes, but consciously we try to choose the things. So we sleep well, we train well, we eat well, we treat people well. So kind of this kind of an honor code, which is then kind of tied into this kind of martial art. So if you live by that, so good things start to happen. And the third thing is then I think it's also that it's a lifelong journey. So regardless of what you did today, so you can tomorrow decide to do something else, or you can learn new things, or you can become better. So every day when you wake up, so you can again start over, but you also have the things that you learned from yesterday and the days before. So the kind of the life's journey is just continuous constantly. And if you have that mindset of becoming better every day, so that will take you far. Like you were saying, that I had to start over. I was 27 when I kind of got my first work in telesales. But it didn't matter because I just knew that as long as I just show up, do my best, someday some great things. Well, if I want to advance in career, there are other things in life as well than the career itself. But I succeeded quite well and became a CEO for because it was just applying the same mindset for work life.
All right, so we're going to play around with this here, and sometimes just so you know, as like your audio is cutting out just a bit every once in a while. So I just want to I want to let you know, like that
Oh,
if I need to, I might ask you to
sure.
repeat it. Outliers, like we this is what is the first thing you said? Be adaptable. All right. So my ask here is that we're going to
Yeah.
get a chance here to practice that in real time. And that's like I think that's like that element of practice like really is kind of like one of the outlier ways where I haven't done martial arts in the past, so I don't feel right calling it like calling my spaces like a dojo, you know. But I think there's
Yeah.
something where you can read about leadership on out in the world. You can watch or listen to podcasts of other people doing it. But then there's another thing when you actually have to practice it, actually have to put yourself and gain the experience. And
Yeah.
that's part of what we try and do here in this format. Um, but I want to ask you, like, from your experience, we see you at like where you are in the journey. We see you post black belt 27, like starting life all over. You're like, it wasn't that big of a deal. It feels like I'm like that feels like a big move to start over. We see you now with like multiple CEOs and executive coaching to other great leaders out there. What's the part of the experience that we would miss? Like if we only looked at the highlight reel right now, what's the part about
Yeah.
you that we would miss that would actually be the key to it all?
Yeah. To me, every morning I actually ask myself that am I doing the things that I want to do? Am I focusing on the things that I actually want to kind of focus on? So I think that's there. So the diligence to kind of every day to wake up and ask yourself that what you want to do today, are you happy with what how you're living your life is actually the key. And it wasn't always easy. I mean, like when you were 27, so I my plan was to become a professional martial artist. I had some clubs that I was teaching in. I've been actually coaching in more than 50 clubs in 4 different countries. And when that all was taken away, so it took a time for me to kind of find my new identity for that. But the same way am I doing the things that I want to do? And sometimes you just need a break. Sometimes you need time to kind of recover. But then again, every day you have a chance to make a difference. And often people feel that it needs to be some grandiose difference in your life, but it's just is that you're just happy the way that you're living, you're just happy where you are now, and then maybe you want to advance step by step towards that. And that's then the path that I chose to take, and I know many others have taken as well, that regardless where you are today, you can get somewhere if you start walking to that direction where you want to go.
So like let's make this real now for outliers right here. Like you've already climbed a lot of mountains of mastery. Like I'm curious for you, like what's next? So like thinking about like your edge in terms of the edge of your comfort zone, or like the project that like gets you excited or has you continuing to grow here. What are you taking on right now that is just like yeah, that just really lights you up?
um, if you think of a full contact fight, so it's always there, even if you're super confident, so there's always a risk and you are afraid you're going to get hurt. So in a way, I try to do the same. So I try to disrupt what I'm doing.
Wait,
So
can you say that last thing?
honestly,
You
at
said
the
in a way
moment,
in the way you try and do the same, and then you try to do what?
yeah, I try to kind of find new ways. So kind of like the old ways should become obsolete.
Mm,
So what I'm working on now is actually, I don't know if it works, but let me tell you what I'm
yeah.
working on. So I'm trying to build an AI enhanced coaching where no humans other than the customer. So I do my own podcast. I wrote a book. I've written to Forbes as a business council member. I have many articles that are published. So I kind of know what my thinking of what a martial arts leader is. And then I'm actually building this AI tool that helps others to become one. So coaching in a way that I would coach, but not by humans, so by AI enhanced tools, where there's first an assessment finding your style as a leader. So maybe you are more aggressive, or you want to make decisions, or maybe you are more collaborative, would call you like a Tai Chi master, or maybe a mixed martial artist, or maybe you are very adaptable, like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. Sorry for these kind of terms that might not be familiar for you, but there are different styles in martial arts, and there are different styles as we are as leaders, which are then strengths and weaknesses for us. So what I'm trying to do is then to disrupt the whole kind of coaching industry that would there be a tool that would actually help you to coach in a way that all the best coaches in the world would be able to coach you as persons, and then try to do that with more like with AI interaction, which would remind you, which would give you actually tasks to do for the day, which would push you then to do something that you are maybe not comfortable with, or maybe helps you to take a pause, take a break during the day. So that if you had a coach every day, like I used to train with the master, so 1 year I trained 100 days with the master, so everything. So he taught me how to sleep, to how to make food, how to recover, how to train. So you could get this kind of executive coach master to live by you, but it's just AI, not the human. That would be my dream. I'm not sure if I even want that to succeed, honestly. I love human interaction, but that's how I want to see the world, that okay, what could be done with the tools that we have today, and I see there are great opportunities that we could just test out and see where it
Yeah,
takes
this
us.
is really interesting because as a coach myself, I think about what's the role of AI for me. And right now, I'm enjoying like the human to human interactions. And you said something that really struck me. You said you talked about the various like assets and places where you've built your domain. And you're like, and as a result, I know my thinking around around leadership and looking at it through the lens of martial arts. And outliers, I don't want to miss that, right? Like right now, what I'm hearing is that you've put in the work, right? You've gotten to the point where you got the black belt. It wasn't that you were thinking about getting it, like you actually got the black belt. You started all over from entry level all the way up to being CEO of multiple companies going in that had thousands of employees and were global. You then went into executive coaching and wrote the book, right? And this is now it feels to me like another example, another tool of taking all those experiences and giving it to people in a different way that may not require you to be there, but also allows them to always have access to you, quote unquote, in a bit. But I think the first part there is like you did the work, this isn't something of what you think should work. You're like, this is it. I'm just repackaging it into a different format to make it even more accessible for people than what is currently available. Let me check in with you. Does that feel accurate? Does that feel like true?
Yeah, that's how I feel. So basically, I 15, 20 years in martial arts, 15, 20 years in leading companies, partly parallel there. And then now was the time to kind of put them together. So I felt that I've maybe earned my black belt in leading businesses as well. Of course, in a black belt, you have many grades. So I'm not calling myself a master, but let's call me a black belt leader. So then I wrote the book, and I'm happy I do podcast, but I feel that what we are lacking now is what a master in martial arts would do. It's not only that they're there to kind of support and get you to another level by asking you, there are tests and exercises you need to do. You need to prove that you are advancing in your skills. So this is something that I feel is lacking from the kind of the leadership environment that we are in. So yeah, scoring, so net promoter scores or some feedback, but that's not the same. It's not following our development as such. It's more like individual comments. So I would want us to kind of even have this kind of belt grades, that as a leader, that what kind of, are you a yellow belt leader, or you start with the white belt and then advance, maybe get a brown then. So that I would want to support this kind of a step-by-step development for leaders out there.
Nice, 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 nice. Have you built it like a technology tool in the past based on some of the other work you've done?
Well, not much myself, so I'm not very tech savvy. But now, of course, with the AI tools and vibe coding, so I thought that okay, if I'm looking at the world and I want to lead companies again, which I might go back to do, and I love that. So, what are the things that I need to learn? I took a bit of break. So, Selfie Store, where I'm working, was acquired by a competitor. So, I took a kind of break where I wrote the book, and then kind of started thinking that okay, what did I do before? What do I need to learn to become a better leader? And AI tools were there. So I thought that okay, I need to learn to vibe code to kind of build something for me that helps me. And then I thought that why don't I try to make it also like a concept that would benefit others. So that's pushing me there. I'm not far yet. I'm not in the video format yet. Text format works quite well. I can do some exercises, give you like 2 weeks plan what you need to do to
Yeah.
kind of learn and to do kind of those tasks. But I would want it to be like we are here on a video call where you could actually chat and talk. But I'm not there yet. But I could get there, and that's my kind of ambition level that I want to go
Yeah,
for.
there's something in there that I think you're demonstrating, right? You keep showing that you're not afraid to begin at the beginning, right? You're like you didn't you're like, I started entry level, and now like I hear you right now, you're like, I'm starting entry level again with this, and I'm learning vibe coding, right? And it's so fun. It's funny to me when you say like, I'm still so far, like I can get the text, and the text is working here, but there's so much more to go. And when I think about this, and that lies, I would feel like if you put in your mind to it too. I'm like, oh, but you're still probably in like the top 1% of people on this planet, right? Because you've actually created something from it. You're not like, and you're leading, like you embraced it, you're creating something with from it. And to your point about the different levels, like I can hear you like looking at it and being like, all right, level one, text. Have I gotten that? Have I gotten that belt? All right, now let's go, because you there's an ascension process that I feel you're able to see the world through. Is that accurate?
I'm not sure which belt level. I feel still that I'm at the white belt level there, but yeah, but step by step to go from there. And similarly as with any skill, so you start somewhere and then you start learning and understanding that I actually know
Yeah.
nothing. But again, you can vision the path where you want to go for, and then you just need to kind of figure it out how to get there. There are plenty of people who can help me to get there, and so there are very many great these steps, but I still feel like that I still need to acquire the skills myself. I can
Mhm.
get guidance and help. And the same, in my opinion, goes with leaders as well, that you can read any book, you can listen to any podcast and you learn, but you still need to try them out yourself to figure out how to lead people. And it's often not easy. There are lots of different options, and you might kind of work with your values, that do I accept this, or do I maybe a serious conversation with somebody. Here's the same, you need to make some decisions and then learn yourself that, okay, do I understand enough of the technology that I can build it up? If not, what do I need to do? Do I still want to go there even if it's hard, even if I don't know the path? Do I still want to achieve that goal? And if the answer is yes, then you just work hard and learn those things to get it done. Equally, it could be that I decide that, well, this was just too much, it was just a dream, and that's fine as well. Then I know that, okay, I was never able to kind of disrupt the coaching industry with these new tools, and that's fine as well. Or I can be the one who's then in leading from the front and showing that where AI can take us with the executive coaching
Yeah,
today.
there's something really in there that's calling to me. It's catching me. And outliers. I'm going to ask you right now to kind of think about things from like what you're bringing out, right? So he's talking about disrupting the coaching industry, right? And bringing out these new tools with new technology and such. There's a big epic goal or dream that you have as well. And one of the things I love as like if we're talking is like you're like, I don't know what level I'm at. Maybe I'm on the white belt level, like the very beginning of this all. But like my invitation out lies that you take some time to think about where you are and what you're trying to get done right now, and just assess for yourself. I don't know the martial arts levels, like I won't put in that context, but like give yourself a quick assessment about like what level are you showing up at, and one like I think the reason I want to make that point out here is that when I talk to you as like, there's no shame, there's no I should be somewhere else. It's you're just like this is where I'm at, and I'm doing the things that get done at this level, and then at some point I would be doing different things, which would be associated with a higher level there. Can we speak a little bit to that? Because there's a piece that I feel from you. Like I know I know you're growing, but I don't feel like you're struggling because you're not there yet. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, thanks for raising that up. I remember, I won the world championship in year 2000, but I've been saying out loud that maybe 5 or 10 years before that, I knew that I will be a world champion. Not because of any skill or anything, but I just had that dream. If I every day wake up and train, someday I'll be a world champion. I didn't know set a date. I didn't set like that by that. I'm just willing to wake up every morning and do my best. So someday I will be there. And that carried me a long way. 2 weeks prior to the World Championship tournament, I actually sprained my ankle, and the first time, and I was in really risk that I need to step out from that, and then I decided that okay, I still will go there regardless of what happens. But that also forced me to think that okay, do I really want to go there? And I really want to go. I really want to try because I've been dreaming of it so long time, and then I had to adapt with my fighting strategy. I had to learn everything, but fortunately I won. For the next time when I was going for the world championship, and it was 2 months prior that, and the same way I was thinking that okay, maybe I can go back, but unfortunately the bones didn't recover enough that it was just impossible to go and fight. Me something that okay, it's something that you have when you have a dream, you can build to be a vision, and when you have that kind of maybe grandiose vision that the AI coaching here to disrupt the coaching industry, you know what you need to do every day. I said in the beginning here that you ask yourself every day, am I willing to go for that there? Am I willing to work towards that goal? And again, you just move forward every day smiling. It keeps out there, or it could be a decision that you don't want to go there. I think that's something that when I'm coaching others, I try to help them to understand as well that it's fine to fail or decide not to go there, and that gives you room to breathe. It doesn't kind of success. It's more on what you decide to do, and you can be happy with different life changes as well, rather than if you never get to that dream or the dream becomes too heavy for you that it's everything and you start stressing about it. And that's then the wrong direction in my mind. So you leave your vision, leave your dream, but just do the work every day.
All right. Well, I really appreciate hearing this, Aslak. And, there was it was actually a little sad on my end because as you were saying, the internet connection was breaking up a bit here. So like outliers, if we need to go back and listen to this here, like we can put together the pieces of it all
Yeah.
because there's just stuff that you're saying as like that is just like so powerful, so powerful. And I'll tell you as you're talking, like the things that are hitting me, right? Things that are hitting me are, spraining your ankle 2 weeks before like the dream is there. Like you get all the way and you put in years of work and like you're at the world championship, that like this is yours if you want it. All right. And 2 weeks beforehand you sprain your ankle. All right. And like in my mind, I'm making up stories about like what might have happened for that. Right. But then you also recognize that like, okay, I may not be at my best, but there's still an opportunity for me and I'm gonna go for it.
Mm,
And what I hear is that then you ended up being adaptable, and you leverage that to actually go and win the world championship.
mm,
And then there was another time where like you came in again 2 months beforehand. Like my heart breaks. I mean, we benefit from it now, decades later, because we get a chance to see all the things you've created since then. You know, but then your hand breaks, and you're like, all right, this is something that like I actually like is not movable. Like this ends up being something that like no matter what I do, I can't really work around a broken hand for this year at this time, right? And I think that also just like when I feel
mm,
that here, the things that came from me as you were saying that was one, wow, I'm really glad that you didn't, that you allowed yourself to go for the dream and take the opportunity when it was there, because like even though you created the opportunity again, there was another circumstance that took you out. And I think outliers, like I want to just like invite us to kind of look at that too and be like, hey, if there's something that's in front of you, there's a chance that you have a chance to make it happen. Like, are you leaning in? Are you finding ways in there? Are you taking the out from any kind of excuses, or are you finding your way to like create what might seem impossible and ends up actually just becoming epic? As like, is there anything you want to say to any outlier who might find themselves in that position where they're in whatever the equivalent of the world championship is for them at this time, or maybe that opportunity is available for them? Is there anything you want to say to that
mm.
outlier?
Yeah, I think summed it up quite well, and you caught my feelings, Niiamah, there. I believe that in that moment when I sprained my ankle, it was track. And
Can you say it again? When you sprained your ankle, what
yes,
were
I
you
was
doing?
running a track, so kind of warming up on a track, so 400 meters track there, and I was cutting my weight, so mind is not there. So for the last or the 2 months before, I've been running always in the track, so not to go to the sides because of the risk that if in my ankle. But that time I didn't do that, and again I a bit sidelined there, but I knew that what could happen, but I didn't pay attention to it anymore. So I made the mistake. So I risk that if I run the track in the center, step on the sides, and that is risky, and that's exactly what happened. So I knew the risk, but I didn't pay attention to it. But where you were asking that what should outliers there think on that moment, so I believe when you worked hard for a vision, so you there will be always obstacles, and you are likely that what's going to happen. Are you ready for it? Are you ready to kind of go all in? And that was the moment for me to decide that, yeah, we need to go all in. The circumstances are never perfect, and there are always obstacles, but you can choose to try anyway. And many times, actually, in those moments, you'll find some extra strength in you. You'll find extra smartness that pushes you through in a way that you could do. So what it did for me when I sprained my ankle was that I had to rethink a bit on my fighting strategy, which was the winning strategy. So I might have lost the fights if I had gone without injury, because I might have been careless or pushed on the movements. But since I was worried that what will happen to my ankle, so I was paying way more attention to the fight, which was maybe on a bit different things than they normally were, and I actually believe that changed the game for me. So when these obstacles are these kind of places where you feel that it's not going the way that you want it, those are actually the moment you can rise up the occasion that you have in front of you.
Yeah, there's something in here as you share this. It makes me think about a story, a little parable. I don't have it in front of me, but it's like the story of like the old man and in the village, and essentially a series of like seemingly unfortunate events keep happening, and people come to him and they say, "Oh, what bad luck?" And he's like, "We'll see." Right? The equivalent of like, "We'll see." And as each of those events happen, it actually opens up a new opportunity, or something else would have happened, and like, wow, you were so lucky, because if you didn't break your leg earlier, then you would have had to go and do this other thing. And he's like, maybe I'm lucky, we'll see, right? And it's like like it's neither good nor bad, it just was. And what you choose to do with it is what comes out of it. And I really appreciate you speaking to, one, the elements of like, hey, I might not have won if I was at my best, because like I like that sprain actually made you a better fighter, is part of what I'm hearing, or at least it made your strategy a sharper strategy for what you needed at that time, and you were able to pay attention to the things that mattered there. I really just I think that's really I don't think I've ever really heard anyone say that, like it's impacted me, right? Where it's like you had one strategy, you got injured beforehand, and you had to change your strategy, and to have the humility to say, I don't know if I would have won had I not done it, because it was with my change strategy that it wasn't just I did the same thing. It's like I had to do something different. And I can you speak a little bit to that, because I think that there's a level here of we talk about up leveling a lot as outliers. Like, how do we not just do more? How do we not just do like the same but better? It's like, how do we continue to grow and like take it to a whole new level? And there's something in that way that you chose to hold it that I've just never heard before. So would you mind just like talking about that and expanding on that a little bit? That would just be really useful.
Yeah, that's really good. I love the perspective, and I love the story of the old. I think I read it a couple of times and really enjoy that. I believe, let's put it this way, I'm not sure if this is fully correct, but half of the things that I did there, I knew and that I should do. So one was, for instance, that when you go to a kind of this tournament and you have everything on the line and a tournament there, so you need to rest just before the fights. So you cannot overtrain just the day before or 2 days before. Focused or pushed me to kind of rest enough before the fights, which then brought me a bit more anxiousness, thinking that, okay, I might not be prepared. This is not normal for me, which then brought more focus on that. If this is not normal, what do I want to do? So I actually kind of got a different focus than in a normal preparation for different fighting tournaments that I had done before, which then was new for me, but then it actually allowed me to think that, okay, if I have to say I was way more focused on the fights than ever before, not only because there was a world championship title to be won, but it was also that I had the injury. And to me, it's when I'm meeting people the same way, I try to think that what don't I see, what's not normal for me. So if I can take one new thing to my table, that one new thought, maybe one risk or something to be more aware of some new things, so that actually broadens my thinking, and that often brings better results. Sometimes you fail with that, but then you learn new things that you would have never learned before. So that's why I believe in that, I have to focus, and I'm maybe more worried about the fight, so that kind of my preparation was in the end better, and during the fight I was way more focused on how I move the ring than ever before, which then the fights that I had there in that tournament, because then I was actually maybe paying more attention to the movements than ever before, not exactly that now I want to punch or kick or go for submission. I wanted to focus on the movements more, which then brought me this new perspective that I never had before.
Yeah, it's so fun because when I think about what you're saying here, I'm hearing you like with that level of focus. Interestingly enough, it felt like you got more discernment, more nuance, like, it almost felt like you're like, let's get the fundamentals, the foundations, and the techniques. If I'm doing these in it, and I'm executing the basics at a high level, then we have the best chance of continuing on. What are your thoughts? Does that feel like an accurate assessment, or is that something that I'm taking out of proportion?
No, but to me it's true. So often the fundamentals are the ones that you built for years, right? So if you don't focus on them, so what was the purpose on that? But we tend to
Mm.
forget. So we tend to go for the tricks or the new things we just learned and try out those things. But we don't have experience. We don't actually have the skills to use them in the real life situation. So yes, focus on fundamentals came from that different focus, which then is the basics of success, in my opinion, for sure.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I'm having a lot of fun with this here. I want to ask you. We're gonna go. We're gonna go back to the future, if that makes sense. Back to the future in this case here, where like I find myself curious about your experience as a CEO and such, but I also find myself. I think that like there's an element of like there's some curiosity in that, but what I'm really enjoying is that like you're someone who continues to grow. You're someone to keep putting yourself on the edge, and I know that you're looking at your next world championship with the AI tools and such. So my question here, and this is just like from one period to the next, like what do you feel that like, let's say that tomorrow the AI thing was just like done for you, right? And like it just worked. You went from like, and we know you went through every single level as needed. Like we didn't skip any levels, but you
Yeah.
went through every single levels, and it was there for you tomorrow. Like, what do you think that now opens you up to, like that you won't have to do anymore? And I'm asking this because like I'm looking at it, and I want to embrace it as well. And I think there's a lot of other coaches and other people out there who are like looking at AI. And at first I was like, well, no one's going to know the subtleties of the movement. But I'm like, AI is doing a pretty decent job,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I am curious about like what do you think it's going to give you, you know, that you that is going to create more space for in your life or in your business, that you currently have to do yourself right now.
Yeah. So it's a time consuming to kind of being actually give the time at the right time. So similar as with fighting. And so when you're coaching some people, so you can take maybe if you have one or two really who need you. So they are now depending on the schedules of both of you. And that's in my opinion is the wrong thing to do, that if the coach doesn't have a time for the coachee, or the coach is waiting for like, okay, let's meet we have a meeting in 1 week or so. So I think those are not the right ways to go. So to me, coaching or executive coaching should be able to be done at the moment when it's needed, and like continuously. So now we are maybe focusing on that, please tell what has happened, and then I think, and then I try to help, or do you have questions? I have prepared this for you, which is then always like not moving with the pace that both of us could move with, if you get what I mean. So it's more like tied into the schedules, the calendars, and the situations where with this kind of tool, I believe it can support you constantly. And you can never be a black belt martial artist if you don't train every day, and you never kind of learn to be if you're never training with the master, so you will never succeed. So here, when we are working on a business, so I mean, of the coach here, we are focusing on them. So the coaches may be an extra help for us, but if the coach was there constantly breathing with us the same problems and helping us and becoming better constantly, the results will be totally different. They would speed up the coaching training a lot, and then people would actually be, and it would actually then the cost of it would also go down tremendously if it's dependent on kind of single person helping single person on the other side.
This was so good. You had me on mute here. I was going to take it all in. I was like, I actually had to write this one down here. Like, you can never become a black belt. Let me say that again. You can never become a black belt martial artist if you don't train every day. And I think that there's something in there that was just like the element of continuing to show up, the continuing to sharpen. And I'm glad to hear like the nuances and the ways that you're finding more and more ways to fully support the people in your world here. I was like, I think this is like, we're going to start wrapping up this conversation. The way that I like to do that is to make sure that outliers know how they can go deeper down the journey with you. So you mentioned your podcast, your book. If anyone wants to work with you or wants to like help you bring this tool out to life, what's the best ways for them to go and make that happen?
Yeah, so I'm the only Aslak De Silva in the world, so it should be easy to find me if you're on LinkedIn. So I'm quite active and connect with me. So happy to help. And I have a website called the blackbeltinleadership.com and /assessment, where you can actually now get version 1 of the training. So you get the white belt course based on, it has 30 minutes to answer the questions, and it will bring you your leadership style as a martial artist. And it can be a blend of different styles, or it can be that you have one strength or strong side, and then it also shows you what your weakness is, that what kind of style you are not comfortable leading with. And then you get a 2 weeks white belt training program there, where you need to every day do something, which varies a lot, what kind of depending on your style. So you can go there. But Aslak De Silva, easy to find, even if you misspell my name. So I've spelled so you will find me there. And please reach out if you need help. So I'm happy to help. Sharing these tools now with these versions free of charge, and let's see if I can build it better and then start charging some nominal.
I love it. I love it. I actually just put the link into put the link on the comments there for anyone to go and check out the assessment. And like we want to just keep growing. Let's go. Let's keep ascending all the way through. I was like, thank you so much for being here. Like, what I'd like to do is like put our outliers to the side. They're going to have the assessment. They're going to have the podcast. They're going to have the book. They're going to have all these different things. And they're going to have this conversation. And they're going to share it with their people. Outliers, share it around with your world here. And make sure that this continues to grow and your message continues to go out. So with that being said, if we put outliers over to the side, we are both in the space of transformation and championship, like to continue to grow, right, on the way. And so what I like to end each conversation with is an opportunity for us just to share an insight that we're leaving this conversation. How has this conversation helped grow you overall? Now, here goes my ask. If it hasn't, don't make it up. like I'd rather you've been great, you've been honest, you've been transparent. Let's keep that going. But if there's a takeaway that you are leaving this conversation with as a result of you being here, I would love to hear. Would you mind sharing one?
Yeah, for sure. Sure. I mean, you really picked it up like the moment of the World Championship fights and how that was different. So actually, I've never probably realized it to the extent as here. Why is what's different and what was the kind of the winning factor for me there? So I think that helped me to kind of really understand those moments better and what happened there. Things happen quickly in life, so you don't stop thinking, and you're happy to win that you get me to kind of go back to those feelings which were 25 years ago and really understand that okay, what happened there. So for that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Like, thank you for being so open and forthcoming with it. You've helped me like really redefine what I think a world champion mindset is. And it's more than just the winning, even though it is. But it's about how we get there. And also just being embracing beginning as a beginner and allowing each different level to be what it is, to take each belt one belt at a time. There's some element where I feel like I'm used to achieving quickly. And so when it isn't there, I'm like, what am I doing wrong? As opposed to just being like, well, actually, you might just be at this belt level, and one day at a time. You can never become a black belt martial artist if you don't train every day. So it's like you just got to just keep the training going. Outliers, let us know what some of your takeaways were. You can put it into the comments. You can come let us know. We can join us inside of the Outliers Edge school group, which is at school.com/outlier. It's a free group. We continue having the conversation there. As like you're invited to be there, so you might be able to continue some of the conversations with them as well. But like just know that we're in this and we're going to keep growing here. Thank you so much for what you bring to the table, as like and Outliers. Until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.